My name is Cole Bennett, and the land I live on has been in my family for 5 generations. Our orchard just outside Millwood, Oregon isn't just a patch of apple trees. It's history, love, and sweat carved into the soil by my great-great-grandfather. During the early 1900s, he planted the first trees with his bare hands after returning from World War I. My grandmother was born in the farmhouse beside them. My parents got married under the biggest Honeycrisp tree we had. So, when the HOA moved in 2 years ago and started talking about property aesthetic violations, I didn't think much of it. Surely, they wouldn't come for something as sacred as the orchard. I was wrong. Her name was Barbara Kensington, but everyone quickly learned to call her Karen. Tall, brittle smile, sunglasses that never came off, and a clipboard that felt like a weapon. She was elected HOA president in a meeting. Nobody attended. Within months, she turned our sleepy neighborhood into a gated community with 32 rules for trash bins. Alone, the orchard, which sat just at the edge of our land, started drawing her attention. First, she claimed the overgrown trees were a fire hazard. Then it was about the fence. Then about unauthorized agricultural activity. On a rainy Thursday morning, I walked out to find a bright orange notice pinned to the orchard gate. It read, "Immediate compliance required. Remove all non-residential plantings within 14 days or face daily fines of $500. I laughed at first. Surely this was a mistake. I called the HOA office and was told in no uncertain terms that the orchard violated uniform landscaping standards and had to be cleared. That night, I called my aunt, the local historian, and my cousin Grace, a paralegal. We sat at the kitchen table drinking cider made from our own apples, flipping through dusty ledgers, journals, photos, even a hand-drawn survey map from 1923. My aunt told me that the orchard was one of the oldest continuously operating family orchards in the region. And it got better. She remembered a state program from the 1970s that recognized living agricultural heritage sites. Section 5. Karen doubles down when I brought this up at the next HOA meeting. Karen dismissed me with a wave of her hand. "Old trees don't make you special, Mr. Bennett," she said with a tight-lipped smile. "This is about community standards." She had the support of 3 board members she personally recruited. They voted 4-1 to move forward with the demolition. I submitted an emergency application to the Oregon State Department of Cultural and Historic Preservation. With Grace's help, I drafted a petition, attached our family documents, newspaper clippings, and even a 1948 photograph of President Truman visiting the orchard during a post-war tour. It turns out, my great-grandfather had donated wartime apples to the troops. The orchard was part of the state's Victory Produce initiative. Meanwhile, I discovered something else. Karen's team had based their claim on a faulty boundary survey done in 2001. They believed the orchard extended past our legal lot, but buried in county records was a 1942 deed reaffirming the orchard's exact acreage, and it all fell under my ownership. Grace suggested we take the story public. A local newspaper picked it up with the headline, "Family Orchard at Risk," as HOA declares trees a violation. That led to a radio interview, then TV. By the following week, my front yard was swarming with reporters. Karen tried to spin it, saying, I was resisting modernization, but the public wasn't having it. One by one, neighbors I hadn't spoken to in years came by. Some brought pie, some brought legal tips. One neighbor, an environmental scientist, ran a soil test and proved the orchard had unique native fungi found only in ancient Oregon soil. It became more than a land dispute. It became a movement. 3 weeks later, I got the email. The orchard was under formal review for designation as a state heritage agricultural site. A state team would visit the following Monday. Karen was furious. She tried to block the inspectors from entering. She even called the sheriff, who politely explained she was overstepping her authority. At the next HOA meeting, dozens of neighbors showed up. They voted to temporarily suspend Karen's powers pending an internal review. She stormed out, threatening lawsuits. Turns out, She had been leveraging her role to pursue a commercial landscaping contract with a firm that wanted to reimagine the entire neighborhood. A month later, the orchard was officially declared a protected heritage site. That meant no one could cut, alter, or build on the orchard without state approval. The site would receive preservation funding. The HOA had to withdraw their demolition notice. Karen tried one last time. She sued me personally, claiming my actions had caused reputational damage. The judge dismissed her case in 5 minutes. She left the courtroom red-faced and silent. To celebrate, we held a community orchard festival. Kids bobbed for apples. Bands played bluegrass, and cider flowed like a river. Even the new HOA board came out to support it. The orchard was finally safe. Sometimes I walk out between the rows of trees and just listen. I hear the past and the rustle of the leaves, my family's voices, the quiet defiance of my great-grandfather, who planted seeds knowing he'd never see all the fruit. And I know one thing for sure: you can fence off a lawn, you can regulate a porch swing, but you can't bulldoze a legacy. Subscribe to DD Stories for more tales where justice takes root one tree at a time.